Right now, while you sleep tonight, one of two things will happen inside your eyes. Either your retinal cells will complete their nightly repair cycle, clearing oxidative damage, restoring visual pigments, rebuilding the microscopic structures that give you sharp, clear, comfortable vision. Or that repair cycle will be incomplete. Nutrients will be missing, oxygen delivery will fall short, and the damage that accumulated during the day will carry forward into tomorrow, silently, invisibly, one night at a time. Which of those two things happens tonight depends almost entirely on what you eat before you go to bed. My name is Dr. Brian Anderson. I am a nutritional ophthalmologist, which means I study the relationship between what people eat and what happens to their vision over time. And I want to challenge something that I hear constantly from patients, from family members, from people in comment sections all over the internet. The assumption that blurry vision, dry, scratchy eyes, difficulty seeing at night, and sensitivity to light are simply what happens when you get older. That these are inevitable. That the best you can do is manage the symptoms with eye drops, stronger prescriptions, and eventually some kind of surgical intervention. That assumption is not just wrong. It is actively preventing millions of people from doing something genuinely effective about their vision. Here is the biology that most eye care professionals never take the time to explain. After the age of 60, your eyes become significantly more vulnerable to two specific processes that compound each other over time: oxidative stress and chronic low-grade inflammation. Oxidative stress in the eye is not a vague concept. It is a measurable, specific process. Every photon of light that enters your eye generates a small burst of free radical activity in your retinal tissue. In younger eyes, antioxidant systems neutralize those free radicals rapidly and efficiently. After 60, antioxidant production declines, and the free radicals begin to accumulate faster than they are cleared. The result is progressive oxidative damage to the photoreceptor cells, the lens, and the delicate capillary network supplying the retina. Chronic inflammation compounds this damage by disrupting the blood-retinal barrier, the protective membrane that regulates what enters and exits retinal tissue. When this barrier is compromised, inflammatory molecules reach the retina and accelerate the very damage that the barrier was designed to prevent. And here is the part of this story that most people have never heard. The majority of your retinal repair, the clearing of oxidative damage, the regeneration of visual pigments, the restoration of photoreceptor membranes, happens not during the day, but during the night. Specifically during the hours between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., when your body's cellular repair processes are most active and your retina is no longer processing incoming light. Scientists call the oxygen demand of this repair cycle retinal metabolic activity, and it is substantial. Your retina has one of the highest metabolic rates of any tissue in the human body. It needs oxygen, antioxidants, and specific micronutrients delivered through the bloodstream at the precise time the repair cycle is running. If those nutrients are not present, if your bloodstream is not carrying adequate levels of lutein, zeaxanthin, lycopene, anthocyanins, and vitamin A precursors when your retina needs them most, the repair cycle is partial, incomplete, and that incompleteness accumulates. Night after night, week after week, year after year. The American Optometric Association has published clear guidance linking nutritional deficiency to accelerated age-related visual decline. The National Eye Institute has funded decades of research demonstrating that diet is among the most modifiable risk factors for macular degeneration, cataracts, and glaucomatous damage in adults over 60. The 7 fruits I am going to walk you through today are selected specifically because they deliver the compounds your retina needs during that nightly repair window. And I am going to tell you not just which fruits, but exactly when to eat them and how to prepare them to maximize what reaches your eye tissue when it matters most. Let us count them down. Number 7. Kiwi. The target problem: blue light damage and deteriorating night vision after 65. Every screen you look at, your phone, your television, your tablet, emits concentrated blue light. And while blue light is a natural part of the visible spectrum, the intensity and duration of modern screen exposure generates a specific form of oxidative stress in the photoreceptor cells of your macula, the central region of your retina responsible for sharp, detailed vision. The active compound, kiwi, is one of the most concentrated whole food sources of lutein and zeaxanthin available, the two carotenoids that deposit directly into the macula and physically filter blue light before it reaches the underlying photoreceptors. They act, in the most literal sense, as natural sunglasses built into your retinal tissue itself. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults who increased their dietary lutein intake showed measurable improvements in macular pigment optical density, the thickness of the protective carotenoid layer, within 12 weeks. Thicker macular pigment means better blue light filtration and measurably improved contrast sensitivity, particularly under low-light conditions. Choose golden kiwi over green where possible. The golden variety contains higher concentrations of lutein with a lower acid content that is gentler on sensitive digestive systems. Eat 1 hour before bed to align peak plasma carotenoid levels with your retina's overnight repair window. Critically, do not peel all the way to the flesh. The thin layer immediately under the skin contains caffeic acid, a potent antioxidant that amplifies the protective effect of the lutein in the flesh. Leave the thinnest possible layer of skin or blend the whole fruit. Number 6. Watermelon. The target problem: dehydration-driven morning blurriness and lens vulnerability to cataracts. One of the most overlooked contributors to poor morning vision in older adults is mild overnight dehydration. The lens of your eye, the structure responsible for focusing light onto the retina, is approximately 66% water. When systemic hydration drops during sleep, the lens becomes slightly less pliable, optical clarity diminishes, and the morning blurriness many older adults experience is at least partially the result of a lens that has lost hydration overnight. The active compound: watermelon is 92% water, but its most important contribution for eye health is lycopene, one of the most powerful carotenoid antioxidants identified for lens protection. Lycopene has demonstrated a specific protective effect against the oxidative protein cross-linking that causes lens clouding, the earliest stage of cataract formation. A 2021 population study published in Nutrients found that adults with higher dietary lycopene intake had a 37% lower risk of nuclear cataract development over a 7-year follow-up period compared to those with low lycopene consumption. Eat 1 to 2 cups of fresh watermelon 30 minutes before bed. The shorter timing window allows the high water content to contribute to overnight hydration without causing disruptive bathroom trips. Do not add salt. Sodium elevates intraocular pressure and directly counteracts the protective benefits of the lycopene. If you want to amplify the benefit, blend the white rind into a smoothie alongside the flesh. The rind contains citrulline, an amino acid that the body converts to arginine, which supports nitric oxide production and therefore the flexibility and responsiveness of the tiny blood vessels supplying your retina. Number 5. Black currants. The target problem: retinal microinflammation and impaired dark adaptation. The ability to adapt smoothly and quickly from bright light to dim environments, what scientists call dark adaptation speed, declines measurably with age. And one of the primary drivers of this decline is not photoreceptor loss, but chronic microinflammation within the retinal tissue that slows the regeneration of rhodopsin, the visual pigment your rod cells require for low-light vision. The active compound: black currants contain among the highest known concentrations of anthocyanins of any commonly available fruit, specifically delphinidin and cyanidin glycosides, which have demonstrated both anti-inflammatory effects within retinal tissue and a direct ability to accelerate rhodopsin regeneration in rod photoreceptors. A clinical study published in the Journal of Ophthalmology found that black currant anthocyanin supplementation over 12 weeks produced statistically significant improvements in dark adaptation speed in adults over 60, alongside measurable improvements in blood flow velocity within the optic nerve vasculature, a finding with particular relevance for adults at risk of or diagnosed with glaucoma. Fresh black currants are highly seasonal. A standardized anthocyanin extract, 50 milligrams, taken in the evening, is the most reliable year-round alternative. Pair it with a small handful of walnuts. The omega-3 and monounsaturated fats in walnuts significantly increase the bioavailability of the anthocyanins, which are fat-soluble and absorb poorly without a lipid carrier. Number 4. Blueberries. The target problem: DNA damage accumulation in light-sensitive photoreceptor cells. Every day, the photoreceptor cells of your retina sustain DNA damage from light exposure and the oxidative stress it generates. In younger eyes, DNA repair mechanisms keep pace with this damage reliably. After 60, repair capacity diminishes, and unrepaired DNA damage in photoreceptors accumulates, accelerating cell death and contributing to progressive loss of visual acuity. Blueberries contain pterostilbene, a compound structurally related to resveratrol, but with significantly superior bioavailability and the ability to cross the blood-retinal barrier more effectively than most dietary antioxidants. Pterostilbene has been shown to activate SIRT1, a protein involved in DNA repair within retinal tissue, directly stimulating the cellular machinery responsible for identifying and correcting oxidative DNA damage in photoreceptors. A 2023 study in JAMA Ophthalmology found that adults who consumed anthocyanin-rich berries, with blueberries as the primary source, showed a 25% reduction in the rate of early macular degeneration progression over 18 months compared to controls. Choose wild blueberries over cultivated varieties wherever possible. Wild blueberries contain approximately double the pterostilbene and anthocyanin concentration per gram, because their smaller size means a higher skin-to-flesh ratio, and the skin is where both compounds are concentrated. Eat 1/3 of a cup 45 minutes before bed. Critically, avoid dairy within 2 hours of eating blueberries. Milk proteins bind pterostilbene and form insoluble complexes that your gut cannot absorb, effectively blocking the very compound you are trying to deliver to your retina. Number 3. Dragon fruit. The target problem: retinal hypoxia, insufficient oxygen delivery to retinal tissue overnight. Your retina demands a continuous, substantial oxygen supply. The photoreceptors alone account for roughly 20% of the total oxygen consumed by the eye, an extraordinary metabolic demand for such a thin layer of tissue. When the capillaries supplying the retina narrow or stiffen with age, a process accelerated by oxidative stress and inflammation, oxygen delivery drops. And when oxygen drops in retinal tissue, cell function deteriorates in a process researchers call retinal hypoxia. The red flesh variety of dragon fruit contains betalains, pigment compounds found almost nowhere else in the fruit kingdom, alongside beta-cyanin and precursors that the body uses to support nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide causes blood vessels to dilate and remain flexible, directly improving oxygen delivery through the retinal capillary network. A 2021 study in nutrients found that betalain-rich food consumption improved microvascular function, including capillary responsiveness and oxygen delivery efficiency, in adults with early markers of vascular stiffening, the same mechanism implicated in retinal hypoxia in older adults. Specifically seek out the red flesh variety. The white flesh dragon fruit contains significantly lower betalan concentrations and does not produce the same vascular effect. Eat half a fruit 1 hour before bed. And do not discard the seeds. Chew them thoroughly rather than swallowing whole. The small black seeds contain omega-3 fatty acids and magnesium, both of which support the flexibility of retinal capillary walls and the efficiency of cellular oxygen exchange. Number 2. Goji berries. The target problem: macular degeneration and progressive loss of central vision. The macula, the small, densely packed region at the center of your retina, is responsible for virtually all of the vision you use for reading, recognizing faces, watching television, and seeing fine detail. It is also the region most vulnerable to age-related degeneration, and the compound most directly associated with macular protection in the peer-reviewed literature is zeaxanthin, which goji berries contain at a concentration unmatched by almost any other food on Earth. Goji berries deliver zeaxanthin at approximately 2.4 milligrams per gram of dried berry, making them one of the single richest dietary sources of this critical macular pigment. Zeaxanthin deposits directly into the foveal center of the macula, the area of highest photoreceptor density, where it both filters damaging short-wavelength light and neutralizes free radicals before they can damage the underlying cells. The landmark ARDS-2 study, the Age-Related Eye Disease Study 2, conducted by the National Eye Institute, found that daily supplementation with lutein and zeaxanthin reduced the risk of advanced macular degeneration progression by 25% in adults already showing intermediate disease markers. Goji berries deliver zeaxanthin at dietary levels consistent with the supplementation doses used in that trial. Soak 2 tablespoons of dried goji berries in warm, not boiling, water for 10 minutes before eating. The soaking process rehydrates the berries and improves the bioaccessibility of the zeaxanthin by softening the cell walls that encase it. Pair them with a small square of 85% dark chocolate. The flavonoids in high cacao chocolate have been shown to enhance retinal blood flow independently, and the fat content significantly boosts zeaxanthin absorption. This combination is, frankly, one of the most enjoyable and scientifically justified bedtime routines I can recommend. Number 1. Papaya, the target problem. Glycation, the silent process where sugar molecules attach to and damage eye proteins. And here we are at number 1. The fruit that earns the top position not because it is the most famous or the most aggressively marketed, but because it addresses the single most underappreciated cause of age-related visual decline, glycation. Glycation is the process by which glucose molecules attach non-enzymatically to proteins, including the crystalline proteins of your lens and the collagen fibers of your cornea, forming damaging compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These AGEs cause protein cross-linking, the same process that turns a clear lens cloudy and creates the diffuse, hazy visual quality that so many older adults experience. They also promote the very oxidative stress and inflammation that damage the retina. Papaya addresses glycation through 2 simultaneous mechanisms. Its extraordinary vitamin C concentration, one of the highest of any whole fruit, directly inhibits AG formation by competing with glucose for the protein binding sites where glycation occurs. And its unique enzyme papain breaks down early-stage glycated proteins before they can form irreversible crosslinks, a form of cellular housekeeping that almost no other food can replicate. Papaya also delivers beta-cryptoxanthin, a carotenoid that converts to vitamin A in the body and is directly required for the synthesis of rhodopsin, the visual pigment that powers both low-light vision and the initial stages of color processing. Research from the Age-Related Eye Disease Study Group found that adults with higher dietary vitamin C intake had a 33% lower risk of cortical cataract development, the specific type of cataract associated with glycation-driven protein clouding, over a 10-year follow-up period. A separate 2022 study in investigative ophthalmology and visual science identified anti-glycation dietary patterns as independently protective against early macular degeneration progression. Eat 1 cup of fresh papaya cubes at room temperature, not cold from the refrigerator. Cold temperatures inhibit papain enzyme activity, reducing the anti-glycation effect significantly. The riper the papaya, deeply orange, fragrant, yielding easily to pressure, the higher the beta-cryptoxanthin concentration. Drizzle with fresh lime juice before eating. The vitamin C in lime amplifies the anti-glycation effect of papaya's own vitamin C, and the mild acidity improves the conversion rate of beta-cryptoxanthin to active vitamin A. Eat this approximately 1 hour before bed, time to the opening of your retina's overnight repair cycle. Knowing which fruits to eat is the foundation. But how you eat them determines how much of their benefit actually reaches your retinal tissue. These 5 rules are the difference between impressive results and no results at all. Rule 1. Wait 90 minutes after dairy before eating these fruits. Calcium from dairy products, including milk, cheese, and yogurt, binds with several of the key antioxidants in today's fruits, including anthocyanins and carotenoids, forming complexes that your gut cannot absorb. Research suggests this calcium polyphenol binding can reduce antioxidant absorption by up to 30%. Do not eliminate dairy. Simply separate it from your eye health fruit serving by at least 90 minutes. Rule 2. Always pair with a small amount of healthy fat. Lutein, zeaxanthin, lycopene, beta-cryptoxanthin, and pterostilbene are all fat-soluble compounds. Without fat present in your digestive system at the time of consumption, their absorption is dramatically limited. A small handful of walnuts, half an avocado, or a drizzle of olive oil alongside your fruit serving can increase carotenoid absorption by 50 to 80% based on published research. Rule 3. Wash gently and never scrub. The outer skin of most fruits in today's list, kiwi, blueberries, dragon fruit, carries a concentrated layer of surface antioxidants, including caffeic acid, anthocyanins, and polyphenol esters. Scrubbing destroys this layer. Rinse gently under cool running water using your hands only. and do so immediately before eating, not before storing. Rule 4. Always eat at room temperature. Cold temperatures, specifically below 10 degrees Celsius, inhibit the enzymatic activity of papain and papaya and reduce the bioaccessibility of fat-soluble carotenoids across multiple fruits on this list. Remove refrigerated fruits 20 to 30 minutes before eating. This single habit meaningfully improves the nutritional return from everything on today's list. Rule 5. Timing is the most important rule of all. The optimal window for consuming these fruits is 60 to 90 minutes before sleep. This timing ensures that peak plasma concentrations of lutein, zeaxanthin, lycopene, anthocyanins, and vitamin A precursors align with the opening of your retina's primary overnight repair cycle. Eating these fruits in the morning is better than not eating them at all, but eating them in the evening, timed correctly, is significantly more effective. I want to take a moment away from the science and ask you something personal. Think about the last time you saw something that took your breath away. A sunset, the face of someone you love, the expression on a grandchild's face when they are laughing, a landscape so beautiful it stopped you in your tracks. Now think about what it would mean to watch that ability slowly diminish. To squint at a face you should be able to read clearly. To give up driving at night because the headlights blur and bloom. To stop reading the books you love because the effort outweighs the pleasure. That is the reality that unchecked retinal decline produces. Not dramatically or suddenly, but steadily, quietly, one incomplete repair cycle at a time. The 7 fruits in today's video are not a cure. They are not a replacement for regular eye examinations or appropriate medical care. But they are something real, compounds with documented, peer-reviewed mechanisms for supporting the biological processes your eyes depend on every single night to maintain the vision you have and protect what remains. And they are available at most grocery stores. Tonight, your challenge: start with 1 fruit tonight. I recommend papaya, room temperature, 1 cup, with lime juice, 1 hour before bed. Add a second fruit in week 2. Rotate through all 7 over the following weeks until the routine is effortless. Then, in 90 days, notice what has changed. Not dramatically, quietly. Does morning blurriness clear faster? Does night driving feel slightly less uncomfortable? Do your eyes feel less dry and scratchy when you wake up? Those small changes are your retina telling you that the repair cycle is running more completely than it was before. Leave a comment below telling me your age and the one vision symptom that bothers you most right now. I read every single one, and your comment might be exactly what someone else in this community needs to see to take the first step. If this video gave you something genuinely useful, please hit the like button and share it with someone over 60 who is quietly accepting visual decline as inevitable. It is not inevitable, and now you know what to do about it. Subscribe for weekly research-backed videos on protecting your vision, your strength, and your independence as you age. Your eyes have shown you everything worth seeing in your life. Give them what they need tonight.